This 0.7 ounce knife is what I plan on taking on my 2019 Appalachian Trail thru hiking attempt. On my seemingly never-ending quest to get lighter gear for cheaper, minding budget and weight and having to sacrifice, price for weight and weight for price, vicious relationship, might I add, I came across this fairly budget replacement for the knife that I had. Now, the knife that I had, just because I already owned it, it was more of, a hiking knife in and of itself, was the Victorinox, Swiss Army Huntsman. And it's a very chunky knife. I think it's like 3.4 ounces, and this is 0.7 ounces. So very, very, very huge savings in weight. I was very stoked about that. I came across this knife almost on accident. Now, I was kind of researching lighter, cheaper gear. I was on Camp Saver, and I was going through some of their sale bins or whatever, and I came across this knife. And I like Swiss Army. I've carried, I think, 2 or 3 of them, so I like them a lot. But I needed something lighter. It's a nice knife, but it weighs a lot, and that's where I'm coming into the conflict. Is I got a lot of nice things that I love to use, but they weigh too much to, be practical in taking on something like this. So this is the Victorinox Swiss Army Classic SD. Now, obviously, it has a lot less features than the Huntsman. So the basic things that it has is a screwdriver and file, like nail file, which will be convenient for maintaining fingernails and toenails, stuff of that nature, while on the trail. So that is a good thing. That is something that this knife does not have. The Huntsman does not have any form of file. It has a lot more, but it doesn't have a file. It has, the Classic SD has a miniature pair of scissors, and it has a small blade, which would be fine for opening packages and small woodworking tasks and repairs that I potentially need to make. It also has a pair of tweezers, which would be great for splinters, stingers, ticks, stuff of that nature. So that is a good thing that the knife has. And it also has a toothpick. I saw this thing, I think it's still in like a Kickstarter phase, and it's the Firefly, and it replaces this toothpick with a ferrocerium rod. So I might look into doing that. It doesn't add any serious weight, still makes it a very lightweight knife. It just gives something that I consider more useless because I've never used it, and it's kind of gross. You're sticking a used toothpick back into your knife. I'm not into that. So I'd like to make that more of a useful piece on the knife. I think I paid about 17 bucks on Camp Saver for this knife, and you can get cheaper versions of it, but I got the more expensive one that they had, and that's because it has a special set of scales on it. So when under a light, it absorbs the UV radiation and glows incredibly bright, which is absolutely perfect for, say, I drop it in the night, I can shine my flashlight or my headlamp around on the ground and be able to find this light very easily, which is something that I thought was worth the money for. Also, not to mention, without it glowing, it's a pretty bright color, so very good to have. Now, obviously, I am gaining a lot in weight and price. It's very budget and very lightweight, but I'm also losing its viability as far as a serious knife goes. The Huntsman has far greater uses, like it has a very large knife and a smaller knife. It has a saw on it, it has a larger pair of scissors, can openers, a bunch of different types of screwdrivers, corks, awls. It has tweezers and a toothpick like the SD, so it does have that going. And a bunch of different features that mostly are not going to be used, but there will be things that for that occasional fire that I might want, or just occasional things that it'd be nice to have, but it's not vital to have. So I made the switch from the Huntsman to the Classic SD based on sheerly what was vital and what I could remove of a luxury. so that I could gain, you know, a larger, well, it's a better piece of gear because it's lighter. That's what I'm striving to do, is get lighter gear so I can go farther faster.